More Americans are moving to Ireland than many people realize. But are they actually finding a better life, or simply trading one set of problems for another? A country known for green landscapes, historic towns, friendly people, and deep cultural ties to the United States. And in 2026, more Americans are asking a surprising question. Could Ireland actually be one of the best places in Europe to build a new life? At first glance, it sounds almost perfect. English-speaking, safe, modern, beautiful, strong economy, rich culture. And for millions of Americans, there is also an emotional connection. Many can trace their family roots back to Ireland. But here's the hidden truth. Living in Ireland is very different from visiting Ireland. The postcard version and the real-life version are not always the same. Some Americans move there and absolutely love it. Others discover challenges they never expected. Housing costs, weather, healthcare differences, social adjustment, and cultural surprises that nobody warned them about. So why are Americans moving to Ireland in 2026? What is daily life really like, and who will actually thrive there long term? Let's find out. The cost of living. Rent. As of late 2025 into 2026, the average rent for a one-bedroom apartment in Dublin city centre is approximately €2,000 to €2,400 per month. Outside the city centre, but still within Dublin, areas like Dundrum, Clontarf, Rathmines, Ranelagh, you're looking at €1,700 to €2,100 for a one-bedroom. Now, if you move outside Dublin, the picture changes substantially. Cork City, one-bedroom apartments are averaging around €1,400 to €1,800 per month. Galway is similar. Limerick is slightly lower. Smaller towns and rural areas, you can find one-bedroom places for €900 to €1,200 per month. The trade-off is access to employment hubs and amenities, though with remote work, this trade-off matters less than it used to. Utilities. Electricity in Ireland is expensive. The average monthly bill for a two-bedroom apartment is €120 to €150. For a house, €180 to €250. And that's after you've paid your rent or mortgage. Why so expensive? Ireland is at the end of Europe's energy pipeline. It has limited domestic fossil fuel production, and while renewable energy is growing rapidly, wind power is huge in Ireland. The infrastructure is still transitioning. Gas, if available in your area, is roughly €100 to €150 per month for a house. Internet is actually a bright spot. Ireland has invested heavily in fiber broadband. A 500 megabits fiber connection costs around €50 per month. Healthcare. Ireland has a public healthcare system called the HSE, the Health Service Executive. In theory, it provides access to public healthcare for all residents. In practice, the reality is more complicated. The public system struggles with capacity. Waiting lists for specialist consultations can be months, sometimes over a year for non-urgent conditions. As a result, private health insurance is extremely common in Ireland. Roughly 45% of the population holds some form of private health insurance. For a single adult, private insurance typically runs €1,000 to €1,500 per year and gives you access to private hospitals with dramatically shorter wait times, private rooms, and consultant-level care on a much faster timeline. Food and groceries. This is where Americans often get confused. Some things are cheaper in Ireland, some things are much more expensive. It depends on what you eat. A pint of milk, €1.20. A dozen eggs, €3.50. A loaf of bread, €1.80. Chicken breast, €8 per kilogram. These are roughly comparable to U.S. prices, maybe slightly higher. But here's where it gets interesting. Fresh produce in Ireland is often better quality than standard American supermarket fare, but with less variety. You'll find incredible dairy products, excellent bread, fantastic meat. Irish culture. The Irish sense of humor. The Irish communication style is heavily ironic, sarcastic, and understatement heavy. When an Irish person says, sure, it's grand, they might mean things are fine, or they might mean things are terrible and they're not going to make a scene about it, or they might mean I've completely given up on this situation, but I'm maintaining dignity. Not the worst is a compliment. I will ya, said in a specific tone, means absolutely not. Good man yourself means well done. She's a character means she's difficult. The pub culture. The Irish pub is not what Americans usually imagine. American Irish bars are themed, formulaic, often loud. The actual Irish pub is the community living room. It's where business deals are discussed, where grief is processed, where friendships are built over decades, where the crack, the untranslatable Irish concept of fun, lively conversation, and social enjoyment happens. The weather. It rains in Ireland. Let's not sugarcoat it. Ireland receives rainfall on approximately 200 to 225 days per year. The west of Ireland is wetter than the east. Summers are mild, typically 16 to 20 degrees Celsius, which is roughly 60 to 68 Fahrenheit. Winters are gray, damp, and dark. Sunset in December comes as early as 4 p.m. The notions culture. Irish culture has a concept that translates loosely as notions, the social pressure against acting like you're better than everyone else. It's a cousin of the Australian tall poppy syndrome or the Nordic Jante law. In Ireland, overt ambition, conspicuous wealth, or taking yourself too seriously is considered poor form. Community and belonging. Ireland is a small country with a small-town mentality even in its cities. People know their neighbors. Local GAA clubs, parish networks, community associations, these are genuinely functioning social structures that Americans often experience as warm and inclusive in a way that modern American suburban life rarely provides. Pros and cons. The pros. English speaking, no language barrier. You can function immediately. Healthcare security, no medical bankruptcy, no $500 insulin. Baseline care is accessible. EU access. With Irish residency or citizenship, you can live, work, and travel freely across 27 countries. Safety. Ireland is one of the safest countries in the world. Violent crime is rare, gun crime is virtually non-existent. Culture. The music, the literature, the storytelling, the humor. Irish culture is rich and welcoming. Education. Free primary and secondary school. Affordable university by U.S. standards. Political stability. Ireland is a stable, democratic, progressive country with strong institutions. Work-life balance. Shorter work weeks, longer holidays, genuine respect for personal time. The pub. I know I keep mentioning it, but the social infrastructure of the Irish pub is genuinely valuable for mental health and community. Ancestry path. If you have Irish grandparents, citizenship is relatively straightforward. Tax advantages for some. The 12.5% corporate tax rate is a massive draw for entrepreneurs. SARP can reduce personal tax for high earners. The cons. Housing crisis. Expensive, limited, often poor quality. The single biggest practical challenge. High cost of living. Not a budget destination. Dublin rivals major U.S. cities for expenses. Weather. Gray, wet, dark winters. Can be psychologically difficult. Bureaucracy. Slow, frustrating, often illogical. Patience required. Limited immigration paths for Americans. No digital nomad visa. Work permits require job offers. Cultural adjustment. The indirect communication, the pace, the humor. It takes time to adapt. Smallness. Limited anonymity. Everyone knows everyone. Can feel claustrophobic. Car costs, insurance, fuel, VRT, expensive and complicated. Public transport limitations. Outside Dublin, you probably need a car. Dental costs, expensive by European standards. Waiting lists for housing, for healthcare, for government services. Everything takes time.